Hello again. In this video I'm going to introduce templates that are used to render web pages. What I'm going to do is drill into the website, and from you who watched the branching tutorials earlier, we're actually in the global branch. I'm going to switch to live and show a few more pages. So what I'll do is drill into one of the pages and show you where you can see which templates are selected. So in the Properties tab over on the right, there is a templates block. This templates block may or may not show depending on how the site was developed. Generally, you may have one template for a particular page type, content type, so you don't want users to be able to change templates. But in this case, we've actually surfaced this block so it shows. You can see there's a master template and a content template. I'm just going to drill into the master template, so I'm going to click on default master. One thing you should notice as soon as you go to a master template is there's actually a little selector here that allows us to choose the header template. We choose header templates within master templates because really within the CMS or the content editors you don't really need them choosing the header templates. I'm actually going to drill into the header template. The header template includes the header code and it includes all the head tags. There's a title tag there without any data in it at the moment, referring to all the CSSs. We have an opening HTML, a doc type, and a closing HTML. And we have the special framework 8 tag here, which is framework8.master, which is where the master template will embed itself when the templates are rendered. So in this case we have just one header. This is a header from Canvas template of ThemeForest. We just took that off ThemeForest and put it into this demonstration. If I go back to the master template, I've got a default header and a default master. So the master has an opening body tag and a closing body tag, and everything in between. There is also another special framework 8 tag, framework8.body. This is where the content template will embed itself. As you can see in here, there's actually some Razor. So you can actually choose the app model syntax. There's a number of methods available in the app model and also properties. So you can actually start writing Razor into these templates straight away. For those of you who want to have a slightly less executable language, we're actually working on liquid templates as well for rendering. What I'm going to do now is, you can see here the copyright notice that appears at the bottom of the templates. I'm actually going to do a little bit of dynamic here because I can see this is saying 2015. I'd quite like it to show the current year. So I'm just going to edit that. Again, you'll notice it's working exactly like everything else within the site. It's an asset, it's version, so I've just created a draft which is showing over here on the right, and there's an archive on back down here. We're also working in the global layer because these templates apply to all levels at the moment. So to replace this, I'm just going to write a bit of Razor here. I only want the year, so I'm just going to do a format. There we go, so I'm going to publish that. Because this is in common and I published it, it's actually going to go live straight away. So if we go quickly back to the website, it's a live site. Have a quick look at one of the pages. And at the bottom here we say it says 2016 and the copyright. So it's as simple as that. So a nice feature within the renderer of Framework 8 is that Razor is not necessarily going to be executed on every single request. There's a lot of quite smart caching that goes on, which will invalidate if there's any changes, but it means that your Razor is not always going to run. There are ways of forcing the Razor to run every time, so that's sort of dynamic Razor, and then there's this just heavily cached Razor. So that really adds to the speed. So another thing I noticed earlier was that the header didn't have a title in it. So I'm going to go to the default and click through to the header. And this is where I'm going to actually use the model. I'm going to switch to the global branch so I can edit. I'm going to edit, and I just use @model.name. So that'll just put the name of the asset that we're currently on into the title there. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to edit these templates. You can do all sorts of things like get the children of a model. You can pretty much do anything you want to do within your Razor. You could even pull data in from other sources. One way I like to work is write a lot of my methods and functions within .NET. So I have an assembly which has some pre-built methods that I can call. That's a very useful thing to be able to have, so you don't need to put too much Razor into the templates. Something else you can have within templates are subtemplates. Again, a very useful feature. So you may have noticed earlier when we were looking at this template, there's a model here, @model subtemplate. So that's the primary navigation. We actually key on templates using the ID of the asset. So I'm going to go and have a little look at that primary now. So subtemplates here. So this is a subtemplate that's used to draw the primary nav. As you can see, there's a bit of code in here, and it's using some API calls. So if we just go through this line by line, I'm creating a list which is going to form my navigation list. I'm using the API call to get assets by type and subtype, and I'm getting the first one. So what I'm actually doing is getting the root of the website, so app folder, website folder. A little bit of defensive code here for root is not null. And then what I'm doing, I'm getting all the children of the root and making sure that we have a certain type in here. We're getting everything of type site and turning it into a list. We're then iterating through the list here. What we do, we have a little custom tag in here, a custom property in here called hide from nav equals 1. So if hide from nav is not equal 1, then we're actually starting to draw the navigation out. So what this is doing here, this little bit of logic, is just checking whether the current item we're on, the current model, is not the same as the item in the list, or it is the same, or whether it's ancestor of the currently selected one. Because what we're doing differently here is we're just putting this class in here, class equals current. And then if it's not, then we just draw the normal li. That's how we're doing whether it's selected or not. Now, on first glance, you might think, well, that's quite complicated to do a top nav. I mean, it isn't really that complicated, but the thing that this gives you, it gives you total power over how you want to draw your navigation. It is the ultimate flexible system. We know that there are other systems that have plugins and you can drag things on and do various things, but we've often found that these don't do exactly what you need to do. I mean, obviously sometimes they do, but then you might have a requirement later down the line where you have to break that plugin or modify it. We're very much here about producing exactly the HTML that you want to produce within the templates, within Razor. I'd like to point out, actually, at the moment, that the Razor doesn't necessarily need to have to be embedded in an asset within the CMS. You can actually reference CS/HTML files and just work within Visual Studio with all the autocomplete niceness that goes with that. I'm just using the CMS and editing the template inline because it's an easier way to demo.